all the conditions are in favor of the trader. That for me is key if you wanna develop a real career here in trading.
Hello and welcome everyone to our podcast, Axi Select Talks Pro-M Edition. We have a very exciting show today. Joining me in our head office in Sydney is one of our very first Pro-M traders, Daniel.
Nice to meet you.
Daniel, nice to meet you. Welcome to Sydney. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
It's my pleasure to be here, for sure.
Thank you. My name is Greg Rubin. I'll be your host. I'm head of Axi Select, often in the firing line, so it'll be good to be on the other side of the fence today and finding out more about you, your experience, and all about your journey on Axi Select so far.
Well, it's been a fabulous journey because the rewards are amazing during this process, and now having the million to be managed by me, it's the best price I could ever dream. So in my case, I come from this industry. I've been trading or focused on trading since I began in the university, and for me this process has been something very, very clever because I know what I wanted to do in my life, and I set up my own trading academy. And after, I keep working on copy trading platforms and doing trading with my own money. And once I discover Axi Select program, I changed everything to Axi because Axi for me has everything I could need in a broker: copy trading, real trading accounts, and the Axi Select program. So for me, this trip ended with for me the best platform, the best broker, because I have everything I need.
Amazing. And even take a step back, go right to the beginning of your journey.
Mm-hmm.
What was it that got you into trading? How did you find your path to trading and then ultimately to Axi and Axi Select after that?
You mean when I started trading?
When you started trading, how did you get into trading? What was your journey like to get to this moment, to managing $1 million of our funds? I'm sure our audience want to know how what does it take to get to this moment? What was the journey for you like?
Okay, for me, I began at the same time I was playing poker. So when I began in the university, I started playing poker and in spread betting, binary option. So everything began at this point. And during my studies, I was growing on both industry, even poker and trading. But the trading was not very good because the products there were at this time, binary options is something that statistic goes against the trader.
Yeah.
So I keep focused on poker, and once I finished my degree and I went into a master of finances, I came back to trade. So at this stage, I use all my knowledge in poker and all the risk management on poker, and I go and I use this knowledge and implement that on trading. And because of that, I had very good strategy, very good management, and my trading was very profitable. Because of that also, I moved from Madrid to UK and to Ireland to work in a broker and a trading educational company. And I've been helping people to trade according to my knowledge and according the basic technical analysis. And after that, I set up my own trading, my own school trading company, and I help people to trade by themselves. And at this moment, a couple of years later, I met Jose, and he explained me about the Axi Select program, and everything changed in my academy and in my own way to become a professional trader. And now, after 1.5 years working very hard, and using my knowledge and my strategy to adapt to Axi Select score, I could reach this point, which is awesome.
That's great. I mean, there are quite a few things I want to touch on there. And the one is the poker, because I always state my trading journey started like you from playing poker, and I transitioned into trading. And for me, the similarities are there in terms of the discipline that you have to have. The old saying, you know when to fold them, know when to get out of a bad trade, not to go on tilt. The same sort of characteristics drive or what make a good poker player makes a good trader. So for you, what were the sort of lessons you'll take away from poker that you've actually used in your trading?
Whenever you go to high stake levels in poker, you understand that your goal is having the same big blinds or win one big blind per round. If you do that, you're gonna become a very good poker player, and you only have to level up your blind level. So if your blinds are 1,000 and you are able to win 1,000 each 10 hands, that's enough. So for me in trading, this point is very important, because you don't have to win the tournaments on each hand.
Yeah.
You don't have to beat the market on each hand. You know that 40% or 35% of the trades are gonna lose.
Yeah.
So if you understand that you only have to win 1.2, 1.5 per trade in average, that's enough. If the relation between losses and profits is 1.5, that's more than enough. You have to win 55 to 60% of the trades and winning between 1.2 and 1.5. If everybody, could understand that and make the trades easier and with less risk, that's enough. Because usually people have very good enter points because the strategies and all the knowledge is there, but people want to win 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
It's a greed.
So yeah, so the volatility allows you to place the stop loss in 10 points, in 20 points, but after you want to win 100 points. That's very difficult.
So from
Sometimes
probability perspective, it's low.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's a balance. It's like in poker, I don't know the term in English. I don't know if it's the balance or the
Blinds or
um,
volatility.
yeah, when you win several times that you shouldn't win, the variance and covariance and all that. So if you go 2 or 3 times against the market is gonna hit you at some point. So you cannot expect always winning 5-1, but it's very easy with a good enter setup winning 1.5.
Yeah.
That's it. That's just it.
Interesting how you bring those same concepts of trading, and they both hold true.
Yeah.
But just to shift the focus into the sort of world of prop trading and the world of funded program, Axi Select, you found out about from one of our account managers, and we pride ourselves on offering a very different proposition to the market. Yes, we provide very generous funding, but we don't see ourselves as a prop firm. We see ourselves as a lot more rounded program, including the education, the edge score, the dashboard. But just in terms of your experience in the prop space, have you tried other firms? Did you start with Axi Select? And how would you say Axi Select is different to the rest of the industry?
For me, the concept is different because it's not like usual prop firms.
Yeah.
You're a really trader's incubator, because you have all the tools that someone that begins in this market needs, because you have several tools to understand your strategy, the risk you are having per trade, how your strategy is working overall. So when I think in prop firms that we have in the market, it's very unusual for me past those processes, because you have to think in your strategy, you have to beat the market, and after you have to beat the condition of the prop firm. So for me, it's very difficult to be consistent in the market. I mean, in general, beating the market is difficult per se. And now you want me to have extra things to deal with. So it's for me, it's insane. It has no sense. However, when you go to Axi Select, it's very smooth. It's super easy in terms of in comparison of the difficult with other firms. You only have to be focused on don't lose the 10%. That's it. If you don't lose the 10%, you only have to reach 7%. So if we would flip a coin, it will be easier to go to 7% than to 10% drawdown. So someone who begins in trading, they can start on Axi Select program and use the Axi score to know if they are doing things properly or not. However, if you go to a prop firm, we know the profits, the business behind that. So it's against the trader, not in favor of the trader. However, here all the conditions are in favor of the trader. That for me is key if you wanna develop a real career here in trading.
I'm very happy you raised that, because that's something that we pride ourselves on, and it's something that's often overlooked in the market. A lot of people, when they want to join a prop firm, they look at two things. They want to know, well, how much funds will you give me, and what percentage of profit can I keep? But what's often overlooked is the trading conditions. It's all very well saying, here's $1 million, keep 100% of it. But when you have all the restrictions, things like high watermark levels, the percentage that you can lose in a day, what you can't trade over news, you can't hold positions over weekend, daily drawdown limits, you're ultimately fighting the trend, and it makes it very difficult. So what we have done as a broker, as a proposition, is to make sure we don't have any of those rules in place. So we give traders the best trading conditions, real life accounts, so that they can express themselves, like, given a fair and realistic opportunity. And I'm glad you recognize that. That's absolutely key in everything that we do. So with that in mind, what would you say is your favorite tool, your most used tool?
For me, for me, trading sometimes is very emotional. So for me, having peace in your mind, for me, is the most important. So having the stop loss at 10% from the beginning, and even if you win at 3, 5, 10%, the disqualification level still at the beginning.
So
That's
that
not
high
because
water
that any dollar you win is an extra dollar drawdown you have.
Absolutely.
So it allowed me to start slowly, and after, if you wanna have more risk, or if you wanna risk a little bit, you can, because you have extra balance to have a bigger drawdown. So for me, in my opinion, that's key, because you can start slower, risking €1, €5 or dollars or whatever, and after you can do better or bigger positions with bigger risk, because you have worked during 1 or 2 weeks on having this extra drawdown.
You build that buffer, and
Yes,
that's where the high watermark doesn't penalize you, because otherwise you always have that.
sometimes the day moves your stop loss, and it's like, fuck, you are always under pressure, because you work, but now you have nothing to lose extra, and it's like, no.
And every trade has a bad day, a bad week, a bad month. So when you have that high watermark, you're naturally going to get stopped out at some point, and then you're off the program.
And sometimes even in those companies, your stop out trigger in profits of overall, and you're like, what? It has no sense. I'm winning, but because of extra drawdown, you get disqualified, you lose the money, and you lose the profit you had. So
I totally understand that. And again, that's why we built it the way we have. But just with that in mind, if you look at what Axi Select offers in terms of, besides the funding, we've got the Ed Score explainers, the dashboard, the leaderboard, the trading room, the weekly webinars in the trading room. Have you found any of that useful in your knowledge, in your journey? Have you found it's made you a better trader or helped you improve?
Yes, for me, the I don't know what part of the dashboard is, when you have the information about your trades. So in my opinion, for me, if you keep what I was saying before, the profit trades between 35 to 45 losses, 55 to 65 good trades, and after, if you check the average of your winning trades and the average of your losing trades, if you adapt your trade with that, is very easy to be profitable, because when you check your statistic after 1 week, you can say, okay, I'm letting go the stop loss too much than I should. So you know that the stop loss should be shorter, or the volume of your trade should be smaller. And with that, you can adjust the strategy and improve your system.
So that's a great interlude to where I want to go next. We've all heard you drop some brilliant and golden nuggets here in terms of your mindset, in terms of how you've related poker, how you've worked with your different ratios. But I'm sure the viewers out there would like to know, what is your trading strategy?
Well, my trade
As much as you can say.
Yeah, I can say. I mean, I have no problem, because if in 2 days or in 2 months there are 20 pro million, that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So what I do is I analyze macroeconomy events, and I'm focused now in what Donald Trump said about fees. How do you call arancel?
Tariffs.
Sorry.
Donald Trump and the tariffs, or the
when they penalize the deal between countries.
tariffs.
Yeah.
Tariffs.
So when he said, I'm gonna raise that, or I implement or not implement, so the market is crazy. So you have to be focused on what Trump is saying now and the macroeconomy events. And of course, once you know all the macroeconomy events, I focus on technical analysis to know what's happening in the market, like the picture. And after, to place the trade, I use the gamma levels on on options. So you can check what is happening on S&P 500. And with this information and the institutional levels, the expiration date for the on the gamma, I use this information to trade on Nasdaq.
Right.
And the correlation between S&P and Nasdaq sometimes gives you an idea about what's happening in the market. And with the correlation between Bitcoin and Nasdaq, sometimes you can know what's going on. And it's super clever on weekends, because on weekends sometimes Bitcoin crash or go super high, and the day after, on Monday, you can see the American market following the Bitcoin wherever it goes. So it's super easy if you understand everything in a totality.
I mean, it's fascinating from a trader to hear that as a strategy. I don't think there'll be too many people who will be able to follow that or understand in the sense of it's just, it's brilliant, the fact that you can incorporate gamma using options from one instrument to trade another market.
That's it.
As well as and then you use how that functions to trade a completely different asset class.
Yes.
I'd love to be a fly on your wall at home, watching your screens and watching the technical analysis that goes with that and into the fundamental. It's really, really is fascinating. So let's sort of shift to the actual prop firm space again and just look at the the whole structure on payouts. There's been a lot of problems in this industry, a lot of people complaining that you can't get payouts or won't get payouts. How have you found the Axi Select the payout structure and the whole process?
For me, it is awesome. And I remember, because I have a community of traders as well. And I remember one day that the first day of the month was Sunday. So I should be pay on Sunday. And I said to my community, okay, guys, it's Sunday. So I don't know if they are going to pay on Sunday or Monday. They are in Australia. So maybe it's Tuesday. I don't know what's going on. So please don't panic if there is some delay, because it could be normal, because people has to rest on weekends. Okay. So, and for my surprise, because people is not used to that, the first of each month, even if it's Sunday, the money is there. You have in your MT4 account, so you can move to the copy trading or to the standard account or to the bank, whatever you want, and that's it. And nothing to claim, nothing to send an email, or I want to withdraw money, nothing. You have the money the first of each month, your account, and you are free to do whatever you want.
And it's been smooth like that every month?
Super. Yeah.
So the way it works, it's automatic. So it goes in to take ourselves away from that situation.
First day of each month, you have in your balance the money you won. So that's it. Very, very smooth.
Excellent. So what would you say is your most memorable moment on the program? I mean, you started over a year ago. You've started with a few $100,000 or $1,000, and you're now trading $1 million of our funds.
I mean, having the million, of course, is awesome. And now being in this office becomes it more real, So something happened and it's like, wow, yeah, that's true. That's awesome. But for me, the most important stage was when you get the 100. Because when you get the first 100, it's like
$100,000.
$100,000. at this point, you have a real extra income.
Mm.
So at the beginning, it's like, okay, you are good, you are doing, that's the way you have to follow to keep going. But when you have the 100,000, that's awesome, because at the end of the month, or the first of the month, you have an extra income. And at this stage is where I say, wow, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
How did you find the jump between the 100,000 to the 200,000 to the 500,000 now to the million? Did you find it affected your way you traded or changed your strategy in any way, shape, or form?
Not really. No, I didn't change how I face the market or how I face the strategy, because I always trade with the 5K that it's needed for the 1 million. So all the leverage or the strategies, the volume of the trades, it was always the same, because you trade always with your amount. Doesn't matter. I mean, I choose to trade always with 5,000. So my strategy keep going according to my balance, and because my balance was always the maximum for the program, I always do the same. So no changes. For example, in other pro firms, they are changing the balance, and sometimes you have mistakes because the balance is different. Not here. Here, I always trade with the same amount, but the multiplier or the money behind doing copy trading was different.
Yeah, I mean, I think
So easier.
it's amazing. I mean, that shows why you are a pro trader, and myself or others aren't. To have that ability to not let the numbers influence your decision, knowing, you talk about income from 100,000, but from 100,000 to a million, or 500,000 to a million, it's a big gap in money.
Yes.
And the numbers change a lot. And to not have that influence you, for you to still be able to keep your head down, keep to your strategy, keep doing what you're doing.
Yes,
It's
and
an amazing feat.
it's because of poker too. Because of poker, it doesn't matter if you are playing 100, 200 or 1,000, 2,000. The statistics are the same. 2 aces, it's 80 against 2 tens. Doesn't matter. So you know what you have to do. Sometimes you're gonna win, sometimes you're gonna lose, and it's part of the process. 35 of the trades are gonna hit the stop loss. That's it.
But again, I love your passion for it. You say the process as if it's the most easy thing to do, but naturally, as humans, when you got big figures,
Yeah.
going back to the poker, if you had a 2-4 table and you got $100 that you're at risk and you lose, it's a bit different to a 50-50 coin flip where there's $100,000 on the table, or $1 million on the table, whatever the number is. As it escalates, you naturally will feel it more, and a lot of people would tend to trade differently or not take as many risks and shut down. And it's very important. The lessons there is to be able to manage sums of figures as if it's, it's not you can't see it as real money whilst it's trading, or whilst you applying your strategy, applying the odds.
Yeah.
And to be able to differentiate the two of that is incredible. So just before you go, it would be just good to understand a bit about your future plans. Now you're managing $1 million, you pro trader at Axi. How is that going to change your?
I have a debt with my students, because in February I reached this million, and I promised that, okay guys, I'm gonna help you one by one to improve your strategy, to improve your tools to reach it. And I have to focus with them a couple of months at least, to help people to reach the million, because it really changed your life. And in terms of my personal life, now I have two kids, 3 and 6 years. So my life cannot change too much, because I have roots, I have kids, go to the school, maybe a new car, but that's not something I'm obsessed on. That I focus on the school, trying to push people to pro steps and help as much as possible.
There you have it, $1 million, and still very humble. And thank you so much. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.